Hey, bro, I thought I'd just pull up looking like Phoenix down from 6 a.m. because I just woke up and my eyes are, yeah. So I just had to shield myself from the sideline oars. So that's why I have these on. We may have one of those on the show today, by the way.
Shield yourself
fellow
from the
sideline
bears.
oar.
Shield yourself from anyone that's not bullish at this moment. ZeHI, how you feeling, man? You bullish or what?
I'm pretty bullish, man. I don't know what Shamsi's talking about, those sideline oars. I was mentioning a friend of mine who was having some trouble for being a little sideline oarish. He was jumping in one of those support groups and stuff, and I thought I'd just help him out a little bit. So I've been asking people for help about what to do for those sideline oars, but myself, I'm always ahead of the game. You know me, man.
Yeah.
I know.
Don't expect that from you, obviously.
Stay with the alpha. But guys, what do we think of this $300,000 Neo Tokyo S1 buy? Like, someone give me some feedback. Like, my the way my bank account set up, the way my MetaMask set up, it ain't
Brother,
quite
It's not even a checking and a saving, I tell you that much. 300 bands. For those of you that don't know, $300,000 spent by is it the founder and CEO or the CEO?
I believe the founder and CEO.
Yeah, of Star
co-founder.
Atlas. And it looks like he's come in and made a whole bunch of noise. Star Atlas itself as a project has been pumping recently quite aggressively. I know the first time I got into it was in 2021 or early 22, but I pulled the bulk of my money out. I have some hydronized tokens, and I was going through my Solana wallet yesterday, and shit's just worth 0.4 cents. But regardless,
it's like NZ24 or something, dude. I remember this, man. Like, oh my god. Dude,
yeah, but I mean, it
ball.
looks like they're here for a good comeback. I saw some of the gameplay that they posted, that he posted, reposted from Star Atlas, and it is looking juicy. I mean, we think that Shrapnel is a very good game. I think this is on par with Shrapnel, if anything. So exciting stuff coming from there, and you guys should definitely check out the video. We may even insert it as a little clip later on. But yeah, man, I think strong founders like that entering Neo Tokyo is pretty cool. 300K, that's hefty, but that's the way to go. That's good. That's probably going to be the barrier to entry going forward, judging by how all the other partners are joining.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing to see, right now today what we saw Gala Games, we saw Star Atlas jumping in. I've heard people say is like, well, where can you go from here? I mean, how does this get more hyped than this? But then it still keeps seeming to get higher, like with this, with this purchase of the number 3 rated ranked citizen. It's pretty out there. I think the only way to go from there is to start getting some of the major gaming companies that aren't even crypto gaming to start buying citizens. Then we know we're really made it.
When Sony, when MiHoYo, when Nintendo, Neo Tokyo to the moon, when? Yeah, so, we're going to get some of these major studios, I feel like, coming in. Like, I feel like Becker's just going to outdo himself and be like, oh, yeah. So I was having a conversation with the founder of Epic Games the other day, and...
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because just based off of his success outside of crypto, he is in those circles. I mean, he's besties with Alex Hormozy. So you're pretty much looking at a guy who's killed it outside of crypto. His connections are top tier. His pockets are top tier. So the access to people and information that he has is also top tier. I mean, I didn't think that, after Altura and Vulcan Forge, which is, one of the largest, one of the most OG gaming studios in crypto at this point, I didn't think that we would really top anything after that. CDFI pulled up. We already have Animoca Brands, and Gala Games pulled up. The only thing after this is probably Decentraland and Sandbox and Axie Infinity. I don't really think it gets any bigger than that. After that, maybe Charles Hopkins or whatever that guy's name is hops on with Cardano, and it's a moon mission. But
Bro,
yeah, I think
crazy.
Becker's on a frenzy.
How crazy would it be if Charles Hoskinson was just like, yeah, guys, we're going to join Neo Tokyo? That would be absolutely hilarious.
Cardano's going to be the new gaming coin. Yeah, carry on.
Speaking of Vulcan Forge, man, you said, you kind of touched on them joining NT. And I think it's kind of like, I don't know if it's an alpha alert, like somebody, the alarm bells are ringing. But I don't know if you guys had a chance to see the Vendetta Frontier Pass. So it was going down inside of the Neo Tokyo Discord, where basically these vendetta frontier passes. I pulled it up here on the screen. I don't know if you guys can see, but they have already had like crazy movement. There's not do your own research, obviously not financial advice, but it's looking like they're going to be launching a token in early Q1. And if you hold the NFT, you will get a guaranteed airdrop of their token. And they are backed by Vulcan Forge. I want to shout out the S2. I don't know how to say their name. I think it's Vivi Vane. And shout out the Blue Horseshoe thread in Neo Tokyo. If you guys are in the Discord, make sure you're checking out the threads because there's always alpha to find in there. This one I thought was a little gem, so definitely want to keep an eye on Vendetta Frontier to kind of see how they do and what they have coming up.
Is this like a project by Vulcan Forge that they've put out, or what's the deal with it?
So from my understanding, it's backed by Vulcan Forge, and there's some speculation that they may have just also bought an S1. So maybe there's some launchpad situations happening here. This is all speculation, ladies and gentlemen. Who really knows? I just wanted to, the hype is just too real right now inside of Neo Tokyo. If you're not in there, what are you doing? So I had to call it out, man. I had to call it out after the $300,000 buy. After seeing all these founders come in, after my gaming portfolio goes up 5x. Shout out to Mega Weapon, by the way. Shout out to Mega Weapon. Just gotta say, love you guys.
Mega
but yeah, man. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent here. We were talking about Mega Weapon at 31 cents, and it was traded up to like $1.75. So there's a lot of things happening out there. If you're in Neo Tokyo and you're going through the threads, they're easy to find. If you got good connections like my guy Shamsi and ZeHI, hey, who knows what you'll get into.
Yeah, and if you're not in Neo Tokyo, you should probably be checking out whatever we're putting out because you'll get at least a touch of the alpha. We're obviously not moles here, because we're showing our face. We're right here. We're not gonna expose anything that's not supposed to leave the Citadel, but it's worth checking out what we put out through Neo Tokyo News, through this content, through Market Monday, Twitter Space, and through our newsletter. So definitely one way to keep up if you can't quite get the bytes together to get in the Citadel.
And speaking on Market Monday, I think this may be a good transition for us as well. So for those of you that don't know or weren't in attention, we had a nice Market Monday Spaces this week, which was 2 days ago for me. Johnny Hustlepedia pulled up, and he discussed a sector of coins that Becker has also been discussing very on the low key. But I think it's got some legs, and that is GambleFi. So what I did was I went ahead and did some research on, well, first, the coins that Johnny mentioned, and second, the entire roster of the category itself, if you guys can see my screen. So here we have the total gambling coins market cap on CoinGecko, which, I mean, it's only $717 million. That is absolutely nothing. That's less than a mid-tier meme coin on the Ethereum chain. And you just sort of scroll down to all of these coins. I haven't really done my research yet, so none of this is financial advice. And I'm not promoting gambling or being degenerate with your money. I know, ironic. But you have coins like Rollbit that are, let's say at $452 market cap. And Johnny mentioned GMBL, Gamble Computer Chip.
Hold up. That was your boy that mentioned GMBL. You know what I'm saying? So come on now. That was a little hidden gem in there. He did mention winner.
I think he co-signed it. So, but yeah, I mean, look at a coin like this, but Butwouldya, a guy with a good track record, mentioning a coin at a $5 million market cap, these coins are the recipe for you to pull your 100 and your 50x's. So I think that if you're looking for a sector that not really hasn't popped off, but I feel like is yet to develop and pop off, this might be a very good place for you to find your edge. So yeah, I just wanted to share that out there. What do you think about Butwouldya?
Yeah, I was actually gonna say you should sort that by the 7 day and kind of see what's moving versus what's kind of lagging there. I was a big fan of Rollbit, but obviously it grew to such a huge market cap. And it's kind of like some of these smaller market cap tokens are coming in, stealing a little bit of market share because educated participants understand that the upside is much greater when you only have a $5 million market cap versus a $5 billion market cap, right? Like Shamsi was saying, this is not financial advice, but this is just some of the deeper end of the pool Degen plays that where, hey, you could see a quick 10x, right? You could see something go from 5 million to 50 million. Another good token I saw in there was BCB blockchain bets. Dubs was another good one. Shout out to Johnny again, Hustlepedia, that was mentioning those. I kind of went digging in the dumpsters today. I was scrolling, I was tweeting, I was reply guying, and I don't know if you guys have heard of a application called Roblox.
Oh
Apparently, they have
yeah.
something called Roblox. Now, I'm being a little facetious here. Obviously, most people in the world have heard about Roblox. There's a few smaller market cap tokens out there that are building on top of Roblox and basically trying to build a quote unquote gaming studio on top of Roblox. There's still plays to be out there. You don't want to get too off in the weeds because it's easy to get lost in the sauce, but definitely some tokens you might still want to check out.
Yeah, I just want to add there. I think there's a very fine line between finding tokens that are hidden gems and also just finding trash. Because when you're in the dumpster, it's hard for you to, screen through what's actually going to be caught up by the metal detector and stuff that's just going to get flown away in the ocean. So just be careful about that. Look for their Twitter, look at their team, look at who the CEO is affiliated with, who's following the CEO, just to understand that maybe hopefully this guy or lady has good enough connections for them to pull some strings in the industry where they can get the project from level A to level B. So yeah, I think just be careful doing that. But if you guys don't mind, should we get into some charts, or do you want to get into another topic first?
I just want to touch base on that because I really like how you brought up this this other category, this other sector, because it's pretty wild. All the main influencers, of course, being in Neo Tokyo, you got Elio and Becker, but this and Hustle, but there's plenty other influencers that seem to be jumping on that bandwagon of crypto gaming is going to lead the way, and it certainly did for this bull market that we're seeing. Crazy gains all over crypto gaming and Bitcoin. Usually you see like Bitcoin and then Ethereum and then these smaller coins, but now you're seeing like all the gaming coins just soar. And if there happened to be a sideline or like my friend, that it probably makes a little more sense to be looking at some of these other categories, like you're saying, like the GambleFi. I'm not even sure if looking into stuff like AI, if that's already jumped through too high and stuff like that. So definitely like looking at these other categories. But I definitely think it would be great to check out the charts and look at the macro a little bit
Yeah, man.
with you,
Just right
Shamsi.
before we get into that, just to put things into perspective of where things could go. A company like Stake, which is, they sponsor Aiden Ross, who is arguably one of the biggest streamers on Twitch and on online, well, on Kick now, but online. Historically speaking, they also sponsor Drake, who is, again, arguably one of the most popular musicians or artists or rappers, whatever you want to call him. So, and they made $2.6 billion in their gaming revenue last year, which is 2022. So, if you look at a company like Stake, and if you're looking at, trying to get to a market cap that is anywhere near their revenue, and market cap is very different to that. Starting from, let's say, a 10 million or a 5 million or even a $50 million market cap, you can easily still pull 10, 15 x's. So regardless of, even with AI, regardless of how hot the narrative may be, I feel like there's still time for you to find those coins. Like I said in the Market Monday spaces beforehand, Solana did its final 8 to 10x only after Bitcoin had already breached 65 or 64,000, I believe, breached its first all-time high. And then Bitcoin went sideways, and that's when you had to buy Solana and pull your 15 to 10x's. So there's still a lot of time. I just feel like when people have the chance, they don't jump in, and that's the risk in the market. Like if you have if all you have is maybe $5,000 or 3,000 or 10K to risk, then you best believe you're going to have to put that on the line if you want to get anywhere with your money, because the markets are ruthless. Like look at the charts now. I feel like this is a good transition into the charts. There's been absolutely no pullback in Bitcoin. It is gruesome for people that haven't purchased. I feel like the last proper rotation that you could have gotten into was this right here. So these highs, let me just turn the magnet tool off. So these highs right here was when everybody was getting super bearish. Right here, I believe I even made a tweet that I wouldn't be surprised if price does something like this and then pumps back up to, well, my target was about 33,000, but here we are. But if you look at price action over here, everybody's looking at something like this. They're expecting price to go up and up and up and then sort of retrace down. It's really not doing that. There's been no chance in the last, let me measure this real quick. There's been no chance in the last nearly 60 days, so 2 months, with Bitcoin having, a weekly pullback or there's no weekly pullback. So this is what hurts people, and you don't really want to be somebody who's waiting. With that being said, speaking of people that might be sidelined, I know a guy who has a gong. He knows a guy who is sidelined, right? The guy with the gong is not sidelined. I'm just putting that out there. And the gong guy's friend told me, well, I'm going to tell the gong guy's friend that it's still not late for you to jump in. Yes, there's increased risk because the more you delay, the more there's a chance of pullbacks, and that's going to play with your mental quite a lot. Because if you buy here and price pulls back to here, you're going to think, was the top in? Should I sell my bags? So that's an issue. The earlier you buy and hold, and maybe even like take a little bit of profits, the cooler you're going to feel and the more at ease you're going to feel. But anyway, we can chat about the sideliners all we want. I just want to look at the 3-day Bitcoin chart over here just to show you guys what we're approaching right now. So from I guess this is macro to some extent. From a macro perspective, we are approaching an area that was previously support, a little bit of support here, a little bit of support here that broke down, and then the resistance that flipped and broke the camel's back, basically. So we're basically testing this area. If you look deeper into this is a supply zone. We have an order block right here. So this, to me, is really the only other hurdle in front of us, because I think if price holds above this, then I don't really see us coming back down to here. So if you're really sidelined, and if you think that you want to make a play that is rather safe, then I would wait for weekly closes above here and then some sort of a rounding off on a smaller time frame, maybe a daily or maybe a 4-hourly, to give you that confidence to know that, okay, all right, price is not really giving us a pullback. And Elliot Trades even said that the pain is to the upside, because so many people, including myself, like I believe up until here, I thought that this rally was a sucker's rally. So I didn't really buy in all that much. I traded all the way up, but I didn't really buy in all that much. So people that are hurting are people that are sidelined. So if you're sidelined, I would wait for either a pullback to down here, which I'm going to discuss in 1 second, or just wait for price to claim above 46, 48,000, somewhere around here, because then you're in this upper third of the chart. So this is sort of your halfway, and this is the lower tier, and this is sort of where you breach the standard deviation of the 3 quartiles of price action. And I would really just aim for a hold above here, and then you can play this part of the range like we've played this part of the range. So hope that makes sense. But if you're sidelined, kind of feel bad for you over here. Even Ethereum, this Ethereum's just pumped up, I believe, 14% in the last 5 days. That's pretty aggressive, and no real pullbacks. Ethereum actually has been much better for trading than Bitcoin has. So, I think that's that from me on the markets. What do you guys think is going on? I know, but Butwouldya had to discuss some Bitcoin dominance.
Yeah, man. Well, good takes there. Good takes. Definitely appreciate that insight. Guys, I don't know if you know this, but Doge just crossed 10 cents. I mean, if we are not in a freaking raging meme bull, I don't know what to say. The mother of all memes, or father, however you want to look at it. Doge is taking over some spotlight here. So sorry, had to call that out. But when it comes to, like you said, should I buy now? Should I wait for a breakout and buy the retest? Like, if you don't have any coins, just buy the damn coins. You wake up, coin price higher, buy the damn coins. Like, just do yourself a favor. Don't go all in. Buy some, dollar cost average, do whatever you need to do, but you need to be partaking in this market, in my opinion. Shamsi, also, when you were saying that price, you had like kind of 35K, my thesis was when we went down to 15, I was like, oh yeah. When we started moving back up, I was like, okay, maybe rally up to 25 to 28, and then I'll reassess. Once we got to 25, 28, I was like, all right, if we can flip 30 and hold like 30 to 32, then like I am in the markets. I am fully like I'm game on. I had a few things like between there, but nothing like, substantial. And then as soon as like that 32 level held and we started moving towards 35, I was just like, more. And it turned out to be a good call now. Definitely, if you are up on some profits, it doesn't hurt to take a little profit, take a little off the top. If you're looking to try to moonbag something though, then you got to hold it. If you're trying to just like, hey, I'm either making it or I'm breaking it, then, hold on to your hats there. I did want to touch on, I don't want to go too deep into it, but Bitcoin dominance, I just think that it's kind of important to check out, right? As Shamsi just showed you, if you guys have any TA background, or even if you've just seen a lot of gurus on YouTube, I'm sure you can be understanding with that. But Bitcoin dominance. So I tweeted this tweet, and as you can see, this is from where is this from? November 25th. Oh wow, Thanksgiving of 2022. And during this time, Bitcoin dominance has fallen down. It kind of bottomed out and found its bottoming level around like 38 to 40%. At that time, I said, we'll most likely get a move up towards its 200-week moving average, and that's 54%. And if you look at Bitcoin's dominance today, what do you know? It's actually right at 54%. So I just thought that was super interesting. I expected to kind of push up closer to 60%. So be aware of that. What happens when Bitcoin dominance goes up? It means altcoins come down. Not every time does it mean Bitcoin needs to be going up. Obviously, altcoins could come down while Bitcoin kind of stays at the same price, and the Bitcoin dominance would then go up. So I'm sure you guys have seen the rotations, and everyone's talked about, Bitcoin moves first, then Ethereum moves, then the lower altcoins, and then, that whole rotation. And I do believe in that rotation, but I think one of the most important charts to kind of watch and keep an eye on right now is Bitcoin dominance. I do think it's going to move up towards 58 to 60%. And then maybe we start seeing some altcoins come back into play, and we have a little altcoin rally. So if you just want to kind of set it and forget it, if you just want to be like, hey, just tell me what to do, I can't do that because I'm not a financial advisor. But what I can tell you is that, we're going to keep rallying. Memes are going to keep running towards the end of the year. Then, we're going to have some altcoins start dying off as either Bitcoin pulls back slightly towards 40K. Everyone's going to be thinking 32K is coming, 35K is coming. They're going to be licking their chops. Guess what? Bitcoin is going to pull back, and you again are not going to buy it. And I'm really not going to feel bad for you at this point because you got all of us on here telling you, hey, this is what we think. A 10% pullback will put Bitcoin at 40K. If Bitcoin pulls back 10%, we know also pull back 15 to 30%. Do with this information what you will. But yeah, Shamsi, great job on covering that, man. I just want to touch
thanks,
on
man.
that
And I just want to quickly jump on what you said about Bitcoin moving first and Ethereum and then altcoins. I just want to ask: is there some sort of a lag that happens with Bitcoin dominance going up and the money rotating within altcoins? Does that give us some sort of a window that we can exploit in terms of money that we can rotate from, maybe take profits on Bitcoin and then put them into altcoins, so that when the rotation happens, you are, standing there to get wet? Is that something that does happen?
I'm sorry, you have to say that one more time. I'm getting DMs from Degens on the side here, like, shout out to Meow. I like it's going crazy. They must know, like they're everyone's getting scared in the market right now, like, oh, flush coming, what's happening?
Yeah,
sorry,
so
one more time.
I was just asking that with the Bitcoin dominance, there's this narrative that money rotates from Bitcoin to Ethereum to altcoin. So I'm assuming there's a bit of a lag that happens with the gains. So Bitcoin's going to move first, altcoins are going to probably stay still or move slightly, and then that people are going to take profits and rotate that money into altcoins. So is there a lag effect that happens? And if so, can we take advantage of that?
So the biggest thing that I see usually when that happens is you want to find the altcoins that have been winning, right? Like we spoke previously about, I think maybe it was on NFT Market Mondays or something, or maybe it was the last time we recorded about, following the winners. The ones that are already winning are going to continue to win and continue to lead. And if you make kind of a list of your winners, or that the coin, not your winners, but the coins you see that have been moving, for me, that's like Rune, that's Tau, that's I'm trying to look through my my list here. Rune, Tau. Oh, what else we got? Bonk. Hey man, Bonk is
Yeah,
moving.
bro.
What
Every
can you
time I log
say,
into
right? So
every time I log into Dex
Chainlink.
tools, Bonk is one of the fastest moving coins.
Dare you say coin price higher? Yeah. So and like and Chainlink, right? So like as you see some of these the winners, quote unquote winners or leaders of the pack, you'll see them moving a little bit earlier, right? And you can kind of spot it out on the chart. You can see where it's like, okay, like hey, this altcoin maybe pull back 5-10%. It's kind of just hanging out. It's not really doing much. And then you'll see this little chart as where it's like it hit that top and it came down its little 5-10%, and it's slowly starting to curve back up. And as Bitcoin kind of tops out, if that rotation is coming, you'll start seeing those guys run, really quick. And if you're quick enough on it, within, let's say 4 to 6 hours, you'll be able to kind of catch that next rotation as well. So I think memes are going right now. Obviously, Bitcoin just had a huge run up. Hopefully, it chills out. Memes will go crazy for a little bit. If ETH starts moving, then that'll confirm our thesis of the cycle kind of continue to play down. If not, maybe we'll get the Bitcoin dominance to move up a little bit. So, ZeHi, man, I want to get you in here. What are you thinking? What is your friend saying about being sidelined? Give me some info.
Yeah, look, man, we're doing fine, me and my friend, all right? But first off, I just wanted to say, we did record last night. We just dropped a few little snippets of it, but we were pretty right on there. I think that was pretty hot, because Shamsi and I were mentioning, well, it really seems like there's going to be a pullback, and almost everybody's saying that. And that's something to always watch, right? When everybody has the same narrative, that they're all waiting for that, right? And so it's like, it's almost always, you got to go against it. I remember even that with Bytes, we're waiting for the meta tournament. Right after the meta tournament, that's when we're going to sell. That's when we're going to take our profits. And it's like 5 minutes after, it was like, boom, from like 100 down to like 10 or something. It's like, sometimes when everybody's saying something, why not be a couple steps ahead, right? When everybody's saying, well, there's going to be a dip, maybe you should listen to Butwouldya. He's like, man, I got blisters on my fingers from pulling out my like burning locks, from my flaming locks, because I'm like freaking out because coin price higher, right? So I'm not going to do that again. We're going to stick with it. And look at that thing, just goes straight up, right? Like that, right? Then you also got the shrapnel. We're looking at shrapnel. It's like, this is a good call right here. And you're talking about like, well, good moves. You see something so obvious like that, just put a chunk in there. A week later, it doubles. You take what you put in out, and now you got a free moon bag, a nice fat free moon bag, right? We give you that information. It was right there, right? So doing pretty nice. There's a lot of good alpha here. It's just like you're saying, following through, actually doing it. If someone like me, I'm making content, I'm sitting there doing all this stuff, but it's like, you got to take the time out to actually make the move and make the trade, and put it out there, like walk your talk. You're talking about meme coins, you're talking about even Doge you mentioned. I think it'd be good to just like go over a little news of where Doge is at right now. We got Elon Musk moving really fast towards, can you see that screen there? Towards obtaining money transmitter license, moving towards crypto payments on X, on Twitter, right? And that is clearly going to be, what would we think, what coin would that be, right? It's pretty obvious which Elon Musk likes, right? And then there was another one here where he's talking, someone found the source code on the Cybertruck page showing that Elon Musk is ready to accept Dogecoin for payment for the Cybertruck. I don't think that's going to move the market, but you can tell this guy, there's movements happening in that direction. So this is just one more piece of evidence. And he's also been about raising $1 billion for XAI, which would likely have some Doge integration into it. So all this movement here is one more indication that this coin that is breaking its yearly highs almost here, just over 10 cents, is likely going to keep moving in that direction.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so that's what I got for this part.
I think with Dogecoin, real quick, I feel like with meme coins, especially with traders and investors that are seasoned in the game, they usually have an air of, I wouldn't say arrogance, but an air of ego of, I'm not going to make my money investing in some doggy coin. And Johnny mentioned it in the market spaces as well, with the fact that, he said that I don't support frogs, but I make money on Pepe. So, what he was trying to say is that there's going to be trains that you can jump on and just jump off of without having to pay the ticket and marry yourself to that train. And I feel like a lot of people fail to understand that narrative, that we're not here to be right, we are here to get rich. And the way that you get rich is not always by being right. The way that you get rich sometimes is by saying, okay, let me put my ego aside. There's this cool narrative that's pumping. Let me just throw 100 in there. Let me just throw, whatever you can, because it's either that or you have no exposure in the market. And I feel like exposure management is a place where a lot of investors go wrong. They're either too invested and they don't take any profit, so their risk keeps going up and up and up and up. Because if you invest $1,000 and you 10x that and you lose it, you don't just lose $1,000. You lose the opportunity cost of the remainder of the $9,000 that just blew away in the wind. So if you're a seasoned veteran, if you're a seasoned investor and have a bit of ego in this market, still look at coins that are, have popular narratives. If you look at Sandbox, for example, Sandbox, the last time I checked, is still 20x away from its all-time high. And judging by the caliber of people that work in that studio, they can probably get to at least 10 to 15x of it. So if you're looking for a safe play, don't count those older coins out, because I feel like they still may have some juice left in them. And that's that.
Yeah, man. That's a good point. I actually was looking through some older 2021 coins that may, like, I don't even know if they have any life left, but they're kind of worth kicking the, what's that quote, kicking the tires on, seeing what may be rattling around still over there. I remember Helium, HNT, and like Helium miners, and I had a bunch of friends using Helium miners, and then they had their own chain at the time. They migrated over to Solana ecosystem. Shout out. And there's a huge narrative coming, in my personal opinion, as well as some the people I follow, for Deepin, and Helium would be like that, one of the leading edges for that. A lot of Deepin protocols are built on Helium, and now that it's on Solana, it's gaining some traction, and it's actually up 30% just over the last like 3 hours. So it seems like maybe a couple people are kind of waking up to that. Still has a kind of a big market cap, but was a 2021 coin. Still thought was a little interesting. Obviously, we talked about Doge a little bit. Matic. Now, I'm not the biggest Matic fan, but when I look at just like you were talking about deviations earlier, like Matic got back above like 75 cents, and it's kind of been holding there. I could see a move up to $1.50. So maybe like a little 2x. I don't know. It's just some of these coins, it just seems like there's still some juice left in the tank, especially as the bull kicks off. I was on YouTube earlier and I saw shorts that said, "These 3 altcoins holding till 2025 will make you rich." And one of them was XRP, and I was just like, all right, like I guess people are still doing that. So maybe that's one that still has life on it. I don't know. It's not my bag. I was a big fan of Mana back in the day, Decentraland. Seems like, a lot more has kind of come to fruition since then. But, some of these narratives are maybe not older people, maybe people that were in the market that had heard about them before, those are going to pick back up. So kind of catching on to those, seeing what could move. Another one in that video was VeChain from the guy, which like I'm a fan of VeChain, you know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, it's just like, bro,
yeah.
Like that, you're talking about holding V chains.
Yeah,
in
I think especially
2025?
with
Like, come
the
on.
with how we're positioned in the market right now, I'm only looking at coins that are, a sub $200 million market cap. So looking at anything that is already at a 2 billion or a 3 billion, a 10x on that is going to need a lot of money flow. And for money to go into a coin like DOT and pull a 10x, you're going to need hundreds of billions or tens of billions of dollars to go into that ecosystem. And that's just a bet that I feel is a little too shallow for me. I would much rather bet on a token within Solana that is at $50 million market cap or $100 million market cap and has a great narrative and is popular within the ecosystem, knowing that when money flows into Solana, that 10x is going to be way easier than a 10x on DOT or a coin with a larger market cap. That's also why I try and explain to people that XRP is not going to be the coin that makes you filthy rich unless you're already filthy rich. It's just not going to do that, because if you pull a 10x on XRP, then XRP has to be bigger than Ethereum. And judging by the infrastructure set up for XRP, it's nowhere near infrastructure-wise close to Ethereum. So again, if you're with that narrative that XRP is going to be the coin that pulls a 10x and turns your $10 million into 100, you need a $10 million for that first. So the way to make that is to go to lower market cap coins and compound on your wins over there.
I mean, you couldn't have said it better, right? Like if you're here for the quote unquote life-changing gains, it's unlikely they're going to come from $1 billion market cap tokens. So you got to take more of a risk, but that's how you're going to get more of a reward. So something to be on the lookout for, like Shamsi said, AI is a narrative that we think is going to pop off. We think Solana ecosystem is going to pop off. There's a 50 million market cap AI token on the Solana ecosystem. There's things like that you want to be looking for, right? Deepin is another token that we think is going to pop, or the section, not token, that we think is going to pop off. And basically, it's like infrastructure plays, right? Decentralized infrastructure plays. And so actually, I saw a tweet come out that had kind of touched on like 4 or 5 different Deepin projects that are coming soon from this guy Barter, and I'll throw it up here. Shout out to you, Barter. I absolutely love finding Twitter accounts that don't have a big following. You can kind of jump in there and see what they're talking about, see the different things that they like to talk about. He's talking about BRC20s in here, talking about Deepin waking up, IOTX, be on the lookout for POKT. But there was one in particular, and of course now I'm not going to be able to find it, and I'm just scrolling through a shitcoin. So maybe I'll stop sharing that. But here it is. I found it. Sorry guys. Sorry to the viewers. But if you want the alpha, you got to go through the trenches. So here we go. Right here, here's a few Deepin projects on Solana. Helium, Render, which a lot of people already know about. Hive Mapper, I spoke about Hive Mapper before. I like this one a lot. Web3 Shaga. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it seems to make sense to me. You're able to rent out your gaming PC, like the capacity, if you have a dope gaming PC. So these are all projects that you might want to check out. If that narrative, if we are kind of correct in finding that narrative, all of these tokens should definitely appreciate anywhere from 2, 5, 10x depending on what part of the cycle we're in. So there's a little bit of more little alpha for you, you know what I mean?
Yeah, my only thing that I would just throw out there, and this is not like why a reason to go invest or whatnot, but it just when you're talking about this stuff, right? Because if you're finding this like sub billion, whatever, just a tens of millions market cap, yeah, a little bit of money can make it launch, right? And that's why you get these like meaningless meme coins that just explode on Twitter, and then all of a sudden people are just making bank off of them, right? There's a whole nother concept though of like actual technologies being applied to the mainstream and becoming adopted into like everyday life, and if and when that happens, something that is around $1 billion market cap could definitely get pretty huge. I mean, you did mention VeChain. I don't even know what's going on. I haven't followed it in the last couple of years, but the whole concept of what they were bringing out was one of the most like clear executable applications that you could do with blockchain technology that actually makes sense and that would actually really help so many different things. I remember even like, these like vaccine, they give you the vaccine card or something, and it's like you got to carry around this vaccine card with you if you want to show people. It's like, well, couldn't you just put that on the blockchain or something right there? And like with VeChain, it was the supply chain, following the supply chain so that that the ingredients, where they come from and stuff like that. I mean, it's actually a real need that blockchain technology could fulfill. I don't think it's happening today. I'm not saying go buy VeChain, but it's like that's why gaming has become this sector that people are so excited about, because it's like, well, there's an application that blockchain technology could actually do some good with, rather than just a meme coin that could explode from 1 million to 100 million or whatever.
I mean, phenomenal point, right? Like if you're able to find the actual real world, life changing, not only for you but for humanity, right? Protocols and projects, like that's huge, right? Like something like Chainlink, Oracle feeds, like that makes complete sense to me. So I agree with you there. But like something like HNT, right? It's like just under $1 billion. They did like they partnered with T-Mobile and did like a $20 unlimited nationwide phone plan. They did like mobile hotspots, like $500 mobile hotspots. They've done stuff that like the people just don't care about. You know what I mean? Like the market just doesn't price it higher. The speculation is usually what really gets the money flowing. So if anything, maybe you're spending a little bit of money on the lower caps to get some capital up and then rotating it back into some of those more conviction plays that you really think are going to do well in the long term.
Yeah, I think that's a smart play. That also sort of protects your money, shields your money in a way, because let's say you have $5,000 and rummaging through the dustbins of the gutters, you manage to turn that 5K into 15K. Now, with that 15K, you can go into safer coins like, I don't know, you can still take some risk. You can go to something like Solana and pull a 2x or a 5x up until the next bull run. So you're not totally in the gutters, but you also still have a chance for the thing to go up. So you can still turn a 15 into, a 60 or a 75. But putting that 15 back into some gutter coin, thinking that it's going to be another 100x, that's a bit risky. So, yeah, that's that. ZeHI, I think we wanted to discuss it was either mainstream news or we wanted to cover something going on in Neo Tokyo News. Which one was it?
Yeah, I was going to give a little rant, because as a psychologist, I like to look at dominant social discourses and checking out, if I'm going to be into crypto and NFTs, how is the overall population looking at this stuff, right? Because even when you're trying to research the news, there's sites like Cointelegraph and all these more crypto specific sites that are going to have some good positive news, but how's the mainstream news covering it, right? And I think it's quite telling, and it's something that we should pay attention to if we want to really see crypto go to another level, and not only like pay attention to, but find ways to counteract it. You know what I'm saying? So we can just check some of this stuff out here. I got a couple that I just wanted to look at. CNN, if we're going to check out CNN, what are they saying? This is like Saturday. Well, Bitcoin is like going nuts. All these gaming cryptos going great. What are they writing about? Why was crypto the perfect tool for criminals and kleptocrats? Okay, that's a great news piece. They probably had it waiting for like right when the market starts to explode, they'll just jump on that one, right? Let's see. This is an even better one. I just love this one, right? Let's try and share that. There we go. The crypto industry is in the dumps. So why is Bitcoin suddenly flying high? Okay. Geez, I mean, that's kind of like saying, parents are still lying to their kids about Santa Claus. So why are Christmas trees still being sold all over the country, or like, it's like, freaking the country's led by somebody who looks like he's a senile sleepwalker, so why is employment rates up, something like this. It's like, why would somebody write a news column that has a
Yeah.
title like that. It's obviously because, they're trying to tear down the industry in that way, right? So what can we do about it? And then if you go into like NFTs, it's like at this point, you got the old folks trying to like constantly put out these lawsuits, tear it down, regulation. Oh, these are securities. Oh, they're going after Ronaldo now, right? They're trying to sue him, a class action lawsuit, $1 billion because he made us buy these things that are securities. How dare he do that, right? It's like the whole you got these old fogies in like Congress, trying to tear it down all the time. And then you got the youth and you got the kids. I mean, I got teenage kids. They think I'm the biggest nerd in the world because I'm talking about NFTs. Oh, NFTs are so not cool. They're so nerdy, right? And then you got gamers who are just like, oh, what the hell? You're not putting NFTs in my game. What the hell are you trying to do? Help me make money? It's like, I don't even understand their arguments there, right? So it's like, and then we do all these, how do we say, we do these interviews with like all these CEOs and co-founders of these games. I'm always asking them that, like, so how are you trying to like counteract that, that narrative? And they're usually like, well, we're just going to call them, digital assets, or some in-game digital assets. And then nobody will know it's an NFT. There's something to be said about that. But I think as an industry, we got to get a little better. Even when I'm writing about crypto or NFTs, I don't even know what to say, because you say, well, if I call the show NFT Market Monday, then they're going to say, oh, it's just NFTs. They're a bunch of dorks. Okay, if we call it Web3, Web3, that's something against Web3. Can't call it that. We have to have some like ways that we can really attack that, right?
Yeah.
I did see that like the U.S. Crypto industry lobby is starting to really get on track for a new record high in spending. So there's some lobbying in the U.S. for that. So that's helpful.
I mean,
but you see how, just one more point there, is just like, you see how like with climate change back in the day, like in the somewhere around the 80s, 90s, it was starting to really pick up, and people are starting to be like, oh shit, man, we got to do something about the climate. The world's going to get all fucked up. We're not going to be able to like survive here, but then like the Conservative Party, at least in this country, did a really good job of like just changing the language, and changing the narrative. So all of a sudden, instead of like, global warming, it's climate change, so it's something that it's like, well, the climate always changes. What's the big deal? And the narrative becomes not like, hey, if you, don't change shit, you're not going to be able to survive. You're not going to be able to have food, water. You're going to have like, ecological, have to move to another place in the world. You're not going to be able to survive or whatever, and they changed from that narrative to, these people want to take your cheeseburgers. They want to take your burgers. They want to take your guns, and they want you to pay taxes. And that's the whole thing that they care about. Just like the gamers. It's like, oh, they're trying to make you pay fees and pay to play and all this narrative. We gotta work harder to change the narrative.
Bugs.
There's my rant for the day.
Fucking bugs. You, my friend, you out there, Gong friend's friend, sideline, you're gonna eat the bugs. That's what's happening. Look, ZeHi, great points, and it's a very astute observation. I think the way things have been set up. So if I am the mass media machine, let's call them, because just throw a little bit of negative connotation out there because they're shitting on our industry right now. So I think it's fair game. If I'm the mass media machine and I am what I think Butwouldya likes to call them sidelined. If I'm sidelined and I'm the mass media machine, what's the one thing that I can do that is in my control to get people to not invest in an industry so that I can pump my bags? Because stuff like this is what keeps retail out. The moment you see CNN, the moment you see, all of your Bloombergs and your mainstream medias mention crypto in a positive light, that's when they're trying to get retail into the market. Right now, they're still fighting the shit out of it because they want to buy their bags. There's people. I don't know if you guys remember in the last bull market. Sorry, there was this Excel sheet showing us how easy it is to pay Forbes Reuters, all of these companies, and get news articles printed for $10K, $15K, $20,000, fudding or talking positively about a particular token or a particular coin and the crypto market in general. It was super easy. If I'm probably not going to find that article anywhere, but if you guys can find it, pull it up. But the idea is that if you can control the narrative, then why wouldn't you want to control it in a way that benefits you properly? So the people that are in charge, the people that are properly controlling these media entities, are not going to want to post positively when it's time for them to buy, because if they're posting positively, then that means retail is now reading these articles and buying before them, because their institutional money couldn't make it into the market, and they're basically allowing retail to beat them. So that's where you go to something like Neo Tokyo News, because regardless of whether the market is pumping up or down, we're basically a bunch of people that are trying to, pump our own bags, and we do it by sharing our bags with you. But you're not going to see that in mainstream media. So I think it's that hierarchy of, the difference in interests of a crypto-centric company is probably going to want other crypto people and non-crypto people to win also. But if you look at traditional finance, if you look at traditional media machine, again, they usually move with a narrative that benefits them only. And we're gonna pick up on that as the market moves on.
Craig, you ain't never lie. So, honesty is coming through. You know what I mean? We're taking the high road. We're just going to take the high road over here. You guys have drained me from all the alpha that I have. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if you have anything else to add. I'm excited. I think, Bitcoin come back to 40K maybe, then we go to 50K. It's in the cards, man. Just sit back, relax, pay attention, and the more you pay attention, the better you'll do.
Yeah, and check out these other narratives, man. Don't just follow what everybody's saying. Follow what everybody's saying. If it's ahead of the game, if you're at the bottom and saying like, "Hey, pack your bags," but if everybody's already launching, let's find some good narratives.
Yeah, well, like you said, ZeHI, like look for them, right? Like I think the biggest thing that people kind of fade is like they'll hear something and they'll kind of be like, like I don't want to bridge across chain, or I don't want to move funds here, or I don't want to go do that. And then it's like, and then you start hearing about it a little bit more, and then you start hearing about it a little bit more, and then the next thing you know, a week later, every single person on the timeline is talking about it. Whatever thing was over there has now pumped 10x, and you're literally sitting there, SMHing. And if you don't know, that's shaking my head. So, it's like, get it together, guys. Like, try some new shit. You're sitting here all day anyway. Click a few buttons, make sure you're using Mint Defense so you're staying safe out there. But, like, try some new stuff. Jesus
Yeah, man.
Christ.
I can bet there's a lot of people out there that don't even have an AVAX wallet set up right now. And if you're one of them, go do that. A lot of people out there that don't have a Phantom wallet set up for Solana. If you're one of those, go do that. And yeah, I think that's that. I think it's been a pretty alpha pack show for today. Which one of us three wants to take us home?
I think that usually goes to Butwouldya, doesn't it?
Hey man, it's my honor to be able to do this. But before I leave you guys, to show that I am practicing what I preach, I was recently sent this video. And I just want to share, this screenshot, and this shows the inflows to SUI network, SUI. And if you check the inflows of money, follow the money. This is where the money is flowing. There's money flowing here. There's NFT projects that are here that are picking up steam. There's stuff to look out for, so be on the watch. Keep your eyes open, keep your eyes peeled. That's all we got for you tonight from the Gong Master himself and the man, Tatted Tan. Shamsi, this is Butwouldya, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.